Hello, everybody. Oh,
There it is. I got it this time.
Sarah and Jamie Thomas.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, let me fix
no.
that. I'm so used to
Hello,
working.
everybody. It's a Monday. You know what? We're obviously in different locations today. I am Sarah Lesky. He is Jamie Thomas.
There.
Uh, there we go. Welcome to another edition of Check-In. We have been temporarily booted again from our studio.
Who's
There's a
here?
couple concerts.
Who's here?
Hello, Phyllis.
Hi,
There's
Phyllis.
Tea Party is in town tonight. Papa Roach is playing at Canada Life Center tomorrow. So we have been booted from our studio. So we found different places to do today's show from because we didn't want to miss it as we get you set for today's game or tonight's game against the Buffalo Sabres. Game 4 of a 5-game road trip. They are heading into KeyBank Center off of a big win against Nashville.
What was the key, Sarah? Was
Oh,
it scoring first? Was it scoring early? Was it secondary scoring? I don't even know where to start.
you know what? There were so many options. Can we say all of those
Yeah.
and the impact that it had?
Yeah.
Today, so over the next 30 minutes, we are going to take a look back at that big 5-2 win against Nashville, get you set for today's game against Buffalo. Morning skate has already happened with the 1 hour time difference, with them being in the Eastern time zone. And we're looking forward to having Winnipeg's own Jen Botterill join us last month, inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. We have been efforting to get her on and looking forward to having her on shortly. So
Forever to get her on the show.
she is very busy, but looking forward to it. I don't know if we've looked in the comments already, Jamie, but there's a lot of talk about soup. James Robinson asking already. Yeah.
Right.
What soup should it be for tonight's game? I mean, my vote's going to be butternut squash. I actually made some on Saturday.
Yeah.
Butternut squash soup. So that's my vote. But I see actually some people with a variety of votes going on in the comments. So I always love to be able to see it. Let us know where you're watching from today. I always love to be able to get a sense of where everybody is tuning in because we know Jets fans are everywhere.
They sure are. I'm going to go with bacon and potato, if that helps. Yeah.
But you know what? It's starting to get winter weather, so it does make it's warm, it's hearty. I like it. But let's talk a little bit about Saturday's win. What did you think about the way that the Jets came out? We wanted to see how they were going to respond. It was the second game of back-to-backs. Obviously, they didn't get the win in Carolina, but both teams having played Friday night, the Jets were able to come out with that all-important 2 points on Saturday.
Yeah, like Sarah, when Scott Arniel kind of called out the veteran, like it's a veteran team, there's no question about that. But the fact that he's calling them for not starting on time on Friday, I think we would all be shocked if they didn't start on time in Nashville on Saturday. And lo and behold, there they were. And it was Gabe Vilardi, who's red hot right now. He's a streaky scorer. But to get that goal that early and then follow it up from a little bit later, at the last part of the last minute of the first period, I think was fantastic. But there's a lot. They were very heavy. They were very physical. Luke Shen had a big role in that. We're going to talk about that here momentarily. Got good goaltending from Eric Comrie, but the most important part was just getting that first goal early on and starting on time, as Scott Arniel was asking and pretty much begging his team to do, and was harping on them at the end of that game in Raleigh on Friday.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. I mean, they desperately needed the 2 points with the way that things have been going. They needed to stem the tide. They had to get out of they had to get back into the win column. And it's just one game, but a lot of the things you mentioned that Scott Arniel had spoken about, or that all of us had talked about, that obviously had been an issue through that 4-game slide, and at various points, even throughout some of the wins, were able to come to fruition on Saturday night. And that includes secondary scoring. How about Nino Niederreiter?
Yeah. And Sandberg's being patient. Then he waits for the breakout, the controlled breakout. It's up to the wing, across the ice to Niederreiter. And Nashville never really seems to pick up the speed. Stamkos misses it. Perbix is way too far over to come across and cut him off.
Yeah, that was what a goal though too. The pass from Dylan Sandberg before that, unreal. So it's just a lot of good things coming from that one, and I think that was every team coach hates allowing goals in the first minute of a period and the last minute of a period. The Jets got both of that, so I'm sure Andrew Burnett was not very happy with his team when he went into the intermission, but Scott Arniel must have been thrilled. So here's Nino Niederreiter on scoring a huge goal.
I mean, obviously, definitely feels really good. Obviously, getting a goal like that, and like I said, I mean, goals hasn't come easy lately, so it's a great feeling when one of those goes in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously secondary scoring has been a big storyline. So you get one. Cole, who had a million chances again, he gets one. And what do you think that maybe does just for the confidence of everybody?
I think it helps a lot, especially like down the lineup. Obviously, we're trying to play the right way, and then things end up being in your own net, so you get more and more frustrated. And tonight it was definitely great to get a couple goals there from the depths.
Get out in front like that, especially up 2-0, you're not chasing the game, and put some pressure on the home team. So liked a lot of what we did, our battle, our compete, that type of stuff we talked about. I thought throughout our lineup that there was one-on-one battles happening, and we were winning a lot of them, and that was big for us.
Like just so huge. And I mean, the weight of the world off the shoulders of anybody that's on the top line, not named Connor, Scheifele, and Velarde. That has to help tremendously. And you heard, Mike talk about Cole Perfetti getting a goal. Like Cole Perfetti's probably had the most chances of anybody lately during this whole slide. So for him to get a goal was big. And Luke Schenn had 2 assists, Sandberg had 3 assists. It's just a lot of things that you wanted to go right did. And to get him out of that funk was just so huge in Nashville.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Perfetti had gone 5 games without a goal.
Yeah.
Sandberg had gone 8.
Yeah.
Did you say? Oh, sorry, 8 games.
Nino Niederreiter was 11. I think it was up at that point for him. So it's just like
Sandberg had gone 7 games without a point, and Mesnikov had gone 11 games without a point. Taves had gone 7 games without one. And so to be able to be, whether it be goals or assists, to be able to have, as you mentioned, somebody other than that top line contribute was key. Also some familiarity, what we saw in terms of the lines that Scott Arniel went with. And then also you mentioned Luke Schenn and the game that he had, he drew back into the lineup on Saturday.
You know what? Obviously, he had played a few games, and that's what you like when you're veteran guys, when they're pros, when they can step in and play like that and not sort of miss a beat. And we needed it, both his physicality, but also we made a great play on Nino's goal, the rink wide, and then obviously, we had talked about, D-men getting pucks to the net front, and that's what he did on KC's goal. He got it down there and allowed that to happen. So when guys can step in like that, it's a big bonus.
Yeah, I mean, obviously no one likes, being out of the lineup, but, you take it and use it in the right direction to work on some things, and, was able to work on some things sort of after practice with some of our coaches, and it's not the first time throughout the course of my career where there's been a little bit of rough water. So you just want to be resilient, and when you get the call again, come in and try to help the team win.
Yeah, Sarah mentioned a little bit earlier, Morning Skate is wrapped up. We do have the lines for you, but we will have that here momentarily, because one thing you never do in this world, Sarah, is you never ever make a Hall of Famer wait longer than 2 minutes. If she wasn't a Hall of Famer, I'd make her make 4 minutes. But this time, not much longer. So please, everybody, welcome to the show. And Hockey Hall of Famer Jennifer Botterill. Listen, we're not.
Thank you.
It sounds so nice, Jen.
Oh, that's really lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, congrats. Like, have you come down from Cloud 9 at all? Just have that with family and the speeches and everything. What a special weekend that must have been for you.
Yes, absolutely incredible. And I think I am still smiling. And that was the one description I think I used over the course of the several days of different events they had planned for us. And, right up to the official induction on the Monday evening. It was just an amazing time to reconnect with friends and family, teammates, coaches. And yeah, for me to share it with my family, my parents had such a great time. My brother Jason could be there, and my daughters absolutely loved it. They did well. That was a lot for their agenda, but for them to be able to soak it all in too. And I think that's it, Jamie. It was just really, really special for me. Like a really amazing time.
Well, and I loved seeing how many people from Winnipeg. I mean, you've got that core group of friends too that have been with you since day one, since growing up, and we've got some mutual friends. And to be able to see them go in and share it with you, I mean, as sure growing up, not something that necessarily young girls dreamt of doing, but to be able to share it, and as you mentioned, with your daughters, and to be, I know that some of them brought daughters with them, and to be able to look and go, that is, as a female, you know, and
Yes.
that's got to be pretty awesome to be able to look at it and continue to inspire and firsthand be able to see what mom or, you know, Jen could do.
Well, thank you, Sarah. And you know what? My crew from Winnipeg were probably the first ones that reached out and said, "What's the plan? We're going to book flights. We are there without a doubt." And you know, I mean, that was certainly, I think you start to think about just your days when you started playing the sport, right? And so it was that group of friends from Winnipeg that I first started playing girls hockey with. And, you know, the first ones I wanted to share the news with when I made my first national team, right? And so those are the moments you reflect upon. So for them to make the time to be there to share in it was just so special, and valuable and meaningful for me. But as you said, I mean, I love now that my daughters and girls, that's what they know, right? That now that's a possibility for females to be a part of the Hockey Hall of Fame. That's just what they see and they know. So it's just been such an evolution, and yeah, so just really, really nice to connect with everybody.
Jen, before we get to the speech and all that went into it and stuff like that, that moment when Ron MacLean brought out your entire family, how nervous was everybody? Like your mom and your dad and your daughters and your husband, like they're on national television. You're used to it. How nervous was everybody?
So funny, because I don't know if you could tell on the air, but I had absolutely no clue. That was
You could tell. Yeah.
a full surprise, because I was messaging them because they were going to meet up with the Winnipeg crew for dinner. And so I was just getting the details on their schedule. So when they all came in, and it was literally seconds after they just showed this beautiful feature from Sammy Joe and comments, you know, one of my closest friends. And so I was already in tears, and then Ron's getting emotional, and then my family comes out. I thought they did amazing. I think they had a great time. It was funny. My girls were like, "I wanted to say more. I wanted more airtime." So, but even for the chance for my parents to both share, you know, their thoughts and their memories, was, yeah, very, very unexpected, but a really beautiful surprise for me.
Okay, Jen, I have heard you give a number of keynote speeches before, and it's something that you do a lot of, and whether it's from a leadership standpoint, motivation standpoint. But Jamie and I, when we were discussing having you on, and both of us actually simultaneously came up with, we want to know about this speech, and specifically, how long did you work on it and what went into it? Because I think that when you're preparing a speech at any point in time, I mean, it can be stressful and you want to make sure that you hit all the right notes, but something of this magnitude goes to a whole different level.
It does, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you do this all the time. It'll be, you know, a breeze for you." And in that sense, I guess I have a little bit of experience, but it felt different because it was so personal, right? I mean, it's just about it's about my life and everyone that's been a part of my world, and so in that sense, it has to be the most meaningful keynote or speech that I've ever put together. And so, yes, it took a lot of time. So I feel like it was really, even in the summer, as soon as you find out the news in June, I feel like your mind starts thinking about things you'd like to touch upon or people you'd like to mention. And so, yes, I would say there were several rounds of going through it to make sure that it felt right and to be respectful of timing as well, because there are so many. The class was amazing. That's one other thing about the Hall of Fame weekend.
Oh.
I mean, I loved being around everybody. I mean, I knew Brianna and Danielle a little bit, but, you know, sitting next to Zdeno Chara and Duncan Keith probably had the most former teammates there of anyone, or just a reflection of his character, right? And then everybody loves Joe, and Joe loves everybody. Just amazing people to connect with, right? That just have so much, I think, respect right across the hockey world. So that whole part of it, I said, oh no, like the first two guys that went up for their speeches, I was already in tears before I was going to go up, but just really amazing to spend time with them as well. But yes, I would say the speech process was quite extended, but it was also a really fulfilling process, right? To go through and think of every stage and people that have motivated you and influenced you throughout your life. So just an amazing time of reflection.
Like how emotional, like it's an awesome weekend, but how emotionally drained were you afterwards in a good way? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think in the best way, because It is emotional in so many ways, so much happiness, so much joy. And I think just when your heart is full, of course, there are moments of tears of joy and just gratitude. So, and in that sense, the Hall of Fame does such an amazing job over the few days of one meaningful event after the next. And whether it's a fan forum and connecting with fans in person at the Hall of Fame, or going to the game of the puck drop with friends and family and coaches, and there are just it feels like one after the other of just really special events where um it's almost, you know what, I was sitting next to Zdeno Chara at the ring presentation, and he was just saying, isn't this amazing, like isn't this overwhelming, like in the best way. And I think that's how we all felt, just trying to soak it all in, because they do make it such a really a magical few days.
Or when you mention, I mean, just I love to hear about the gratitude and appreciation that
Mhm.
everyone that goes into the hall has. When you think about how accomplished all of you are, and that something like this, whether it's the Olympic medals or Stanley Cup championships, the variety that everybody just looks around and goes, isn't this fantastic? Isn't this so?
Yes.
I mean, because you don't, I
Yes.
mean, you don't always get moments like that in life, right? To be able to step
Yes.
back and reflect. And I think that's so cool. And I mean, I mentioned Olympic medals, and basically, Jen, I mean, your success with Team Canada, one of the reasons why you are in the hall now, and you're going back to the Olympics as a commentator. You have done that on other occasions as well. So I want to switch to the Olympics, because obviously
Sure.
that's at the forefront of a lot of people's minds, are getting there right
Mhm.
now. And what is Team Canada going to look like? What is Team USA? And so on and so forth. Having been there as a player, as a commentator now, what are these players in for, do you think? I know that every Olympics holds its own special uniqueness to it, but just in general, can you give us a sense? Because I mean, there's so many players obviously in the NHL that are looking forward to having the opportunity to do this for the first time.
Yes, I know. And isn't it a fun sort of constant conversation for everyone to speculate on
Mhm.
who's going to be on the roster?
Yeah.
I'll
And
take
so
that
many.
over trade deadline, Jen.
But so many players that have elevated, right, to bring
Mhm.
themselves into the conversation and the contention for their respective Olympic rosters. And certainly having been at the Olympics, and then, as you mentioned, from a different point of view and perspective,
Mhm.
covering the game, I think every time there is just an incredible environment. And that's what you're seeing, I think, from this performance, from so many players at the NHL level that are bringing themselves into this competitive environment, or bring them into the discussion on, vying for a spot on the team, because it's so special. And I think that is not lost on any player. Women's hockey, men's hockey, I think they understand and recognize the meaning, the opportunity, and the sort of just the special environment that's created at the Olympic Games, representing your country. And even even the recent Hall of Famers talking about moments where they had the chance to do that. That was right at the top of their list of reflection moments that filled them with gratitude.
Did each Olympic Games that you went to, Jen, were they all different in special meanings? Like, was it like, oh, I've done this before, so what? Or was it every time like, this could be the last time? Like, how did you treat each Olympic game that you went to?
Yes, I know. I feel like some of my teammates always say, how can you can't pick a favorite when people ask, well, what was your favorite Olympic Games?
Right.
Well, I don't think you can pick one, but each was unique and special in their own way. If I had to pick one, it was probably Vancouver, because an Olympics in your home country.
Yeah.
But I think each created different challenges or opportunities for us to grow and get better. When I look upon my career, I mean, the first one was a disappointment for us, not winning the gold medal, but using that as motivation. I mean, the first time that we won in Salt Lake City, it was a year that we faced so many challenges and had to overcome them. And it was sort of a different final game. We had all kinds of penalties, and it's still a game. I mean, decades later, I cannot believe how many people still want to talk about the Salt Lake City Olympics, that they were captivated by that one. I mean, Torino, Italy was just special in a different way, and how we wanted to elevate and be so much stronger and better and really take the level of play in the game to new heights. So, I mean, each one is so different, and I think that's what the players recognize as they look forward to the Olympic Games, and knowing only a select few have been named to their rosters, and there are
Mhm.
so many spots available. I just feel like that is well on the radar of several elite players in the National Hockey League. And I just think it's been so exciting to reflect and to just see how many of them have really stepped up knowing what's at stake.
Absolutely. Jen, I want to ask you just before we let you go, we know how busy you are, about one question, NHL related, and that would be
Yes.
just when you look at where we've obviously passed the quarter pole mark, you look at really the parity that's kind of existing within the league right now and how close the standings are in general.
Yes.
You've seen a number of young teams that I don't think we necessarily thought would have the early success that they have had. Do you think that now, though, maybe is the time where you start to see some of those more veteran teams step up, find their game again, and the younger teams maybe drop off? How do you anticipate this next little bit and what we're going to
Well,
see with these
yeah.
teams?
I mean, but hasn't it been exciting, right? Because there has
It's
been
been
so
great.
much,
Oh,
parity in the league, and perhaps for some teams, that have been a huge surprise. And as you think about the sort of the next sort of segment of the season, that there is the question mark if the youth and the young talent and skill can sustain that for some of those rosters that are younger. And so I think that's the challenge with a condensed schedule and the games, often close together, how the young, if they can sustain that. And so I think that's sort of something that we have to be aware of. I just feel like that's what's exciting about this season, that it's not so predictable, that when you're looking
Yes.
at the roster and there are so many teams that are a few points back, that things could shift and change from week to week very significantly. So I think it's been a great time in the league in terms of the excitement, the skill level that we've seen, teams that have played well, but teams that have had injuries or players coming back recently or they're coming back soon that are huge difference makers on their team. So I just feel like the playoff picture, I know we always talk about that US Thanksgiving and teams that are in the playoffs and how predictable that has been in seasons past, but there's certainly the potential that that's very different this season, that things could shift and change very significantly. So
We kind of lied a little bit because I have to ask you about it, because Elliot Friedman said that David Amber is like panicking about all the Canadian teams. Is his panic level as bad as Elliot makes it sound?
I'm going to say yes. David Amber is a very good friend. He is a very good friend and amazing to work with.
Yeah.
But yes, I think he feels things very strongly. So he is very invested in Canadian teams. So if things are going well, he feels that strongly. If it's not going so well, he feels that strongly. And so do all of us, whether we're in the studio at the desk with him, in the green room watching, like every moment of every game, we are up and down with David Amber. But he loves it. And I feel like his energy is most definitely contagious. But yes, there is a little drama at times with David Amber around.
Thank you so much for joining the show. Again, congratulations on behalf of us and everybody that's watching the show today. We're so excited for you. You're a great person, a tremendous player, and an amazing analyst as well. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It was really nice to chat with both of you. So thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Bye.
Hall-of-Famer Jennifer Botterill joining us.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what? It's almost like I remember when I came here and I watched Dale Hawerchuk all the time growing up, but from a Calgary Flames fan perspective. But when you finally like meet him, like Hall of Famers are just so cool. And now Jennifer Botterill is that person. It's just as amazing for everybody. And you're right. Phyllis, you're right. It was a great interview. Jen is the best part of the panel. I like that one that says she keeps the panel in check. Because that's true, because Sarah keeps me in check. So it's just like, I get where this is coming from. And Jen does a tremendous job in that aspect.
But let's hope she does a better job keeping them in check than what I do with you.
What are you even talking about right now? Like, you run the show.
We mentioned before Jen came on, we mentioned that Morning Skate had finished obviously in Buffalo, and we had a look at the projected lines. They're looking pretty familiar. Similar to what we saw last game as well. Luke Schenn staying in, appears with Dylan Sandberg on that second pairing. Stanley Miller, your third pairing. What do you like? You're right. Matt Hyman, Jamie cannot be tamed. I've tried for years and I am not able to. So those are what our projected lines are for tonight's game. Just a reminder as well, going up tonight, let me do this, a busy December, obviously, as this kicks it off. Look at where the Jets are, if we can, in the standings, if we can put it up. Now, we're putting it up by... Oh, by points. You did switch it by points percentage. Hey,
You
so
control everything.
if you look at points, the Jets are about three teams back of that second wild card spot. But by points percentage, and this is why, every 2 points, it's a little cliche, but how big of an impact it could make. With that win in Nashville, the Winnipeg Jets were able to pull themselves back into a wild card spot ahead of Chicago and Utah. Again, by points percentage, which Jamie and I have said, we do like that at this time of year, because as you'll notice at games played, some of them are significantly, or at least a couple more different. So that can really impact where we see things are in the standings. Okay, quickly, Sabres.
Yeah.
What do you think about this Buffalo team and what they
every year, Sarah, I feel like every year we say the same thing about the Sabres. Like, you feel bad for their fan base.
They're a great fan base too. Oh, they really they're passionate.
You want them to turn the corner, not tonight or on next Friday, or this Friday, sorry. But like the same thing. It's like a young up and coming team that just have like if you're Buffalo Sabres fans, you're looking around, you're looking at San Jose and you're looking at Anaheim, you're like, okay, that should have been us many years ago. And there's just a lot of patience, a lot, like, I don't know, like you feel bad for them at the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings, albeit it's a little tighter this year than it has been in years past for Buffalo, but for them to be sitting where they are right now has got to be frustrating for the fan base and certainly for management.
Yeah, they have been able. Now you look, they have 24 points. Jets have 26. Yeah. They've been able to get that extra point, the loser point, as we sometimes refer to it as. They have a 10-11-4 record. They are better at home. They are coming in off of a win. They're 8-5-2 at home. They're getting Josh Norris back in the lineup tonight. He's been out of the lineup since game 1 of the season. He's going to center their top line. So, but it's you hope. Not tonight. You do hope that they start to make progressions, but it just seems year after year that while you see the other teams take that step forward, we just haven't seen it from the Buffalo Sabres. And you can only imagine the frustration, not only that the fan base feels, but also what they feel inside that room and inside that organization.
Yeah, I mean, I think Scott Arniel's going to avoid, like, pretty much voice what we're saying here momentarily, but as a veteran coach, a longtime guy that's been in the National Hockey League, understands that it's not easy any night, and especially with the way the Jets game has been so up and down. Here's Scott Arniel on facing the Sabres tonight.
Yeah, well, they just went in Minnesota, and we just saw them. And, we know how the terror that they were on, and they work hard. They beat us in our building near the end of the year last year, and there's no easy opponents. There's nobody's out of the race, and we've got a climb that we in front of us here, a climb that we got to get ourselves working hard towards. And you know what, we're going to have to make sure that our competitive level, it was as good as it was the other night in Nashville, has to be repeated tonight.
There it is, very obvious. So, and they do have exactly the same that they did on Saturday. It's just like, get out fast, especially with a team that's struggling the way the Buffalo is.
Well, and as great as it is to see them get the win on Saturday, you need to start to pile up these wins and you need to string them together. That is something that they've been able to do this season, but they have been able to put together wins. Need to see that from the Jets going forward. The first of 2 meetings, if you like seeing the Jets and Sabres, that's great, because you're going to see them again this week as well. The Jets are home for 1 game on Friday, and it is against these Buffalo Sabres. It's the first time that they played an Atlantic Division opponent tonight. They play 3 straight, Buffalo, Montreal, and Buffalo again, and 5 of their next 8. So it's a heavy dose of the Atlantic Division. If you take a look at this upcoming Friday and actually going forward with some of these games in December here at home, we have a deal for you. You know what? There you go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yep, this is it. Cyber Monday. With this being a day that many people purchase things online, it's a 24-hour flash sale. You look at these prices for some of the games that are coming up here in December. You don't want to miss out. It should be, it's a very busy December, but it should be an entertaining December when you look at those opponents that are coming into the Canada Life Center. As you saw very quickly, through tonight's game is on Amazon. Prime. It is exclusively on Prime for it. These are the dates for this year that they are on Prime. But you notice 3 are in the month of December. I know that Prime can get people a little bit frustrated at times if you don't have Prime. I think that they do have a 30-day free trial. So if you haven't used it yet, perhaps this is the perfect time to do it with 3 games this month available on Amazon. But of course, you can always listen on CJOB. Our good friends Paul Edmonds, Mitchell Clinton will always be ready to take you in from beginning to end of puck drop.
Yeah, busy show. Not every day of a Hall of Famer on. Just looking for their second win in a row, as always. Thank you for tuning in to this broadcast. I almost said telecast, realizing we're on the internet, totally different stories. So broadcast.
Yeah, broadcast. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Streaming thing.
Thing.
You get to stream the game tonight. So thank goodness you streamed with us. We're getting you in the mode to stream. I can go on forever.
Dude, we really wish you wouldn't.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody.
Hey, Wednesday, the Jets play in Montreal. It's always a great time at the Bell Center. That game is going to be on Sportsnet, but of course, you can join us at 12:30 when Jamie and I get you ready for that game. We'll take a look back at tonight's game. Hopefully, the Jets will be going into Montreal having won back-to-back games. All right.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have a great day.